Welcome to Scare Talk, a horror movie podcast for horror film reviews, ratings, rankings, and rumors. Now for your hosts, Danny, Joel, and Katrina.
Yeah, this is Scare Talk. I am Danny, and I'm here with Krispy Kreme's Katrina and Jiminy Cricket's Joel.
Hey guys, what's up?
Yeah.
Hello.
Well, on the 9th day of Scaremas,
You did it.
yeah, my true love gave to me Joel's pick, Dreamcatcher.
Yes.
Yeah, the dream is caught.
It has been.
All right, Joel, tell us about this one. Tell us who's in it.
All right, so this one stars Thomas Jane. He is Henry.
Yeah.
He was in The Mist, Deep Blue Sea, and Before I Wake, which was a Mike Flanagan movie.
Mhm.
And then
Okay.
we've got, which I think is on Netflix right now, Damian Lewis. He is Jonesy, and he was in a TV show called Billions for 66 episodes. Homeland for 37 episodes, and where I know him from most besides this movie is Band of Brothers for 10 episodes. He's one of the main characters in that show.
Okay.
Cool.
And then we got Timothy Oliphant. He is
Yeah.
He was in 78 episodes of Justified, Scream 2, 30 episodes of Santa Clarita Diet, and my favorite of his movies is The Crazies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Santa Clarita Diet's actually a really funny show too.
Yeah.
I like that one.
What's
Drew
her name?
Barrymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
They had to cancel it on Netflix. Lame.
Very lame.
This was written by William Goldman. He did the screenplay, and he wrote Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, The Princess Bride. He did the screenplay, and he wrote the book as well that the movie was based off. The Ghost in the Darkness and Misery.
Oh,
And,
okay.
yeah.
Ghost in the Darkness. That's one of your favorites.
Yep, it's up there. For, I think it's an honorable mention on mine.
Yeah.
Top 10. And then we've got Lawrence Kasdan. He wrote The Bodyguard, Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, and Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, as well as Raiders of the Lost Ark. So he's got
Jeez.
several
Okay.
classics under his belt. And then it was directed by Lawrence Kasdan, who directed Body Heat, Wyatt Earp, and French Kiss, which is a Meg Ryan rom-com. So
Okay.
writing wise, it's got some like pretty heavy hitters as far as like movies that are classics today. So
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. All right, cool. Well, friends on a camping trip discover that the town they're vacationing in is being plagued in an unusual fashion by parasitic aliens from outer space. Which you don't really learn any of that until, I don't know, like a half hour in.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It takes a
Pretty
little while
far.
to get there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And once it gets there, it's when I lose interest.
Oh, okay. We have a little sneak peek at Danny's
Yeah.
opinions.
But before we get into all that, let's hear about the critics and the audience.
Yes. So we'll go to our Rotten Tomatoes first. And we've got a 28%. A very rotten tomato for the tomato meter.
Dang.
Um,
Good job, critics.
Yeah, a little bit higher for the audience score. We've got a 35% for audience score.
Okay. Yeah. That's a little more. I mean, I'm not going to give it a 35, but
Yeah.
it's not that bad.
Well, IMDb then puts it at a 5.5.
Okay. Nice.
So there you go.
All
Yeah.
right, cool. And this movie
Now-
came out in what year? 2003?
2003. Yeah.
Okay. And this is a Stephen King movie. Also,
It is,
Stephen
yeah.
King book that was
Yeah.
made into a film.
Yep.
He
Now,
didn't do any of the writing for the movie or whatever.
No.
yeah. What
He
now
rarely
in the
does.
description it says friends on a camping trip.
Yeah.
Is it a camping trip?
I don't know if you
It's a cabin.
count.
They go to a
Yeah,
cabin.
It's a cabin.
You know.
It's a glamping trip at best.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not
They're-
tents or anything.
Yeah,
But they're in
I
the
wouldn't call
wilderness.
this
They're
a
in the
camping
woods.
trip.
In the woods, yeah. I
Yeah.
guess if that counts.
Although
All
it's
right,
snowing,
so
you're not going to be in a tent. It's craziness.
yeah. So before we get into our different opinions on this one, which will be exciting, we need to talk about hydration.
Yes.
So if you want to get hydrated, I recommend that you try out Liquid IV. It is a little powder that you put into your water. It's kind of like, the water flavoring things that you see at stores. But this one, you have to order online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one has electrolytes in it.
Yes.
So this one is a super healthy one. You can get sugar-free options.
Yep.
And it is hydrating.
Yeah.
Like you can get those ones like the cheap ones that just add flavor, but this one is going to give you that hydration.
Right. The
And
electrolytes.
Really help you out
Yeah.
through the day. Not just for people who are hiking, working out, camping in the woods, but also just for a boost for your day.
Right.
I notice a huge difference when I have electrolytes.
Yeah. It's got a lot more electrolytes than the sports drinks like Gatorade and things like that. I've used it. And Powerade. I've used it when hiking and even waking up in the morning. Have some electrolytes, kind of get your day going. So it's very useful. And we also have a little discount for you guys. Real people, real flavor, real hydrating. Get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code SCARETALKCODE at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code SCARETALKCODE at liquidiv.com. All right.
Nice.
So, Joel, this was your pick. I want to know why you would subject us to such a film.
It's a Stephen King movie. Come on, man. You gotta, it's a classic.
It's a classic.
So, no, it's not at all. It's really not. I've seen this a handful of times, and the first time I watched it, it was around 2003 in the within 2003 2005 ish, and I enjoyed it up until a certain point, and then I was like, okay, this movie sucks. this movie's bad. So it took me a couple of years to get back into it because I remembered that there was a part that kind of ruined it for me, but I was only remembering the characters were kind of fun and I liked the whole cabin setting. So I was like, I wonder what part, because I didn't remember the part that I stopped enjoying this movie, and then I got to it and I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's why I dislike this movie. I've seen it a couple of times. It's been years since I've seen it. I watched it the other day, and there were a couple of scenes that I'm like, this movie's stupid. That kind of ruined it for me. So as the years went on, yeah, I disliked this movie more and more. It's
okay.
I still hate the scene that I remember disliking the first time, but it's yeah. I mean, I had to watch it, so you guys had to watch it with me. So,
so we can get into spoilers. But before we, we'll get into that scene you're talking about. Before we get too far into it, we've got the kind of setup of these childhood friends who have this mutual friend.
Club, basically.
Yeah, it's basically like that. It's kind of had a lot of like it
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're in
vibes
Derry
to it.
also.
Yeah, they're in Derry.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So come on, Stephen King.
And,
There's others.
I
There's other
mean,
towns.
yeah. Stephen King just really, he was like, man, I enjoyed writing it so much. I'm gonna
yeah.
do another
Yeah.
one like it, like it.
And they have this mutual friend who is has like special needs and
Mhm.
but has given them these powers,
Yeah.
these psychic abilities to kind of read minds and stuff, and so they kind of use their powers throughout their life,
Mhm.
and they go on this camping trip.
Yeah.
And then weird stuff starts happening when aliens start showing up.
Mhm.
So we'll get into more specifics, but that's kind of the setup. So
Yeah.
what scene? I'm interested in what
Yeah.
scene you didn't like the first time, and like you said, it still bothered you now.
Still holds
So,
true.
It's still. So I'm not gonna hold it against it for taking place in 2003. Graphics weren't great.
No, no.
Even The Mist had issues. That movie came out like 6 years later. So the graphics were pretty bad for this movie. But the scene that I'm talking about is when Duddits comes back, and it's Donnie Wahlberg grown up, and he's got like 2 words in the entire movie. But then he turns into like this like monster, and there's like this monster fight at the end. I was like, seriously, like this is so bad. It just turns into like a monster fight, and I'm like, this is so stupid. Okay,
So
that's like the very end of the movie. That's
so you made it pretty far before the
first time.
hatred.
I liked the characters. I liked like, I mean, it had its issues throughout the movie, but I liked the characters, and I really like how they introduce each of the characters. In this movie.
Yeah.
And you see, each individual person's like abilities or whatever throughout. And the quote unquote losers club scenes didn't used to bother me before, but it's some bad acting in those scenes. Watching it again, I was like, this is pretty cringe right now. But yeah, it just, I don't know. It didn't bother me having this, like, it turning into like an alien movie. I didn't remember actually seeing the alien like up front as close to it as we did. Like the little worm thing, whatever, like crawls all over him and stuff. It's pretty crazy seeing, because I don't remember that at all in like the movie, the times that I've seen it. So that part was a little bit cringe because of the graphics. There's not good graphics back then. But yeah, it's just none of that stuff used to bother me apparently. But now it's like, yeah,
it takes you out of the movie a little bit.
It does. I liked some of the characters. Don't even want to mention Morgan Freeman because he's hardly in the movie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he was like the lead name too.
Yeah,
like in the credits, the very first name when the movie starts is Morgan Freeman.
Movie, so
yeah,
I mean,
Freeman. But I was watching like, where's Morgan Freeman? Like, how is he going to show up in this movie? Like, it doesn't really, like, the way the movie's going doesn't really mean like, I just didn't see another character, like an older character like Morgan Freeman showing up.
Yeah. The part with Morgan Freeman, the parts that Morgan Freeman was in, those are the parts that really made me not like the movie.
Yeah.
Those were the cringy parts to me. I just felt like, I felt like the writing was really poor for Morgan Freeman's part, and like
Bucko.
Yeah, the Bucko stuff was driving me wild.
Like, really?
And I kept thinking, is that his name? Or like, why are we like so pushing this Bucko thing? And then it's like I was telling Danny, I was like, did he call everybody Bucko? I was confused. Like, it was just too much. And it just, I don't know. I didn't like that whole premise of we've been fighting these aliens for 20 years and
Yeah.
like
Turned into like a Men in Black, like Independence Day, like kind of movie,
Yeah.
but
yeah,
without Will
well,
Smith and like the fun of that.
well, and
Yeah.
exactly, not with the fun of it,
Yeah.
and without the like, they were trying to go like real deep with it,
Yeah.
like they were trying to add this like depth to it, and like that it's, you know, that there's like, we have to watch the boundary and all this, and it was just, to me, that's what took me out of
Yeah.
it. It was like, okay, we don't need to, you're trying to put like two movies in one. It felt
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. I definitely would have enjoyed it more if it was more grounded, where it was just those main characters and we
Uh-huh.
didn't add in this like military operation or whatever they were into the mix. Then it became like this bigger movie. And yeah,
And it could have been that they added them in, that they just discovered this, you know, that they just found like these animals that had these spots on them and everything, because the animals like were running and
Yeah.
everything. And
Yeah.
so then they were like, oh my gosh, what is this? And they tested it and it came back as like something really weird. So they decided to quarantine. You know, they could have had that aspect, because that was part of why they weren't able to get out, and they had to, like, I don't know, it added to some parts of the movie, but it didn't have to be this whole background. 20 years we've been fighting this, and
Yeah.
and Morgan Freeman's like big lectures, and like it's like, oh my gosh, like what kind of movie are we watching right now? Like, are we
Yeah.
watching a drama? Are we watching, like, what is this? You know?
It would have been better. So part of the reason I really like the Crazies, the movie, is they actually do have like they use the police to like quarantine the areas, and that it would have been better used if they were just there to like quarantine the area, so that, you know, they know where the alien's at. And you know, you got to quarantine this like area of the forest, instead of doing this whole background of like 20 years they've been fighting the aliens and stuff.
Exactly.
There are ways of utilizing them
Yeah.
that would make better sense, unless
Yeah.
you were
make it more entertaining of a movie.
Yeah, unless you were planning on making like 3 movies out of this or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But it just didn't do well, so they couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if what the thinking was, but yeah, they put too much in to a story that didn't need it. Like, it was a very isolated story in general. Like, these friends go to the woods to, you know, have some reunion or whatever. And that's it. And maybe they encounter aliens, and then that's the movie. Like, you don't need to bring in the military unless you're quarantining the area.
Yeah.
But
Hey guys, I wanted to ask you, why did we choose Zencastr to do our podcast?
It's a good question.
yeah, it is. So we had gone to a bunch of different companies, different sites, and either the quality wasn't great or the pricing just wasn't in our wasn't what we were wanting to pay. But then we went to Zencastr, and the quality was really good, and the price was very affordable too. So we've been with them for about 6 months or so, maybe slightly less. And yeah, it's been really good so far. So yeah.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I remember when you guys were looking around. So
yeah,
okay.
what I like about Zencastr is the like ease of it. It's really easy to set up a recording, to invite Joel. We have to invite Joel into the recording, and then after, there's like some post production that you can do. You can do some editing after you're done. So it's like an all-in-one type of service.
Okay, so that's why it doesn't take you as long
Yeah.
to do all the editing.
Yeah.
Because guys, it used to take him all night. Now he gets it done pretty quick. He does a bunch of episodes all together. So yeah. Okay, so we actually have a deal for you guys. If you go to zencaster.com/pricing and use my code ScareTalk, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencaster paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experience I get for all my podcasting and content needs. It's your time to share your story.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I would agree with all that. Once the alien showed up, the full when you get to see the full on alien, which is
mhm.
not super far into the movie. Like when we get
Yeah.
to see the like parasite worm looking
Mhm.
thing, then we get to see the big alien like pretty soon after that. Like
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
not much build up
Yeah.
to seeing it.
Mhm.
And yeah, it looked pretty bad.
It was really bad. Yeah. That was the
Um,
graphics I was thinking
yeah.
Joel was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the like
Graphics
parasite
got
is
worse.
just gross. It's just gross.
Yeah.
I just didn't I don't know. It was gross to the point of like not like disturbing, more just gross. Like why? Why does it need to be like this?
And like from the area that it came out of the
Yeah.
person's body, or
Yeah,
like...
well, there was that, just the way that they looked, just all of it. It was just slimy and ugh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that added to the creep factor of them.
I
Like it
guess.
was like, oh man,
Yeah.
these things are crazy. And like the teeth and the way it opened and
Yeah.
everything, it was unexpected. Like it wasn't something that you
Yeah.
didn't expect it to like open like it did,
Yeah.
and like at
That- I
some
mean-
points it looked like an eel, sometimes it looked like a snake,
Yeah, like a leech, kind of
yeah,
like the little
yeah.
ones. Yeah, leeches.
How
are-
how it opened reminded me of one of the creatures from the mist. How it
Okay.
how
Mm.
its face like opened up and stuff too. So
Mm.
another one that didn't have very good graphics, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
a very good story for that one though.
yeah, it's a much better story. But
Yeah.
than
Well,
this one.
so this one too, like aside from the 20 years fighting these things, I felt like also the Duddit story,
Mhm.
like there were so many components
Yeah,
of this movie and the stories within the movie that it did feel like they were almost like preparing for multiple movies.
yeah.
And I'm curious to know like what the book is like, if
The
they're
book is pretty big, I believe.
Okay.
I believe it's a pretty big book because I think I had it because I was really interested in this movie when it first came out
okay.
because the trailer looked pretty cool. From what I remember, it was just like the friends at the cabin and then the animals. They see the animals like running
Yeah.
away from something, and then I think there was that line like, "Not where are they going, but what are they running away
What
from?"
are they running away from? Yeah.
And I remember that kind of hooking me with the trailer.
Yeah.
And
I
yeah,
recognize that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I never read the book. I just have the book.
Do you still have it?
I probably don't.
Oh
No.
man. We'll have to read it because
No.
I'm curious.
I'm not reading it.
Okay, whatever. I'm curious to know if there's like more background information and more story to the whole Duddit stuff, and also
Yeah.
their life as living with these powers and stuff, because it showed like I agree with you, Joel. I think I really liked how they introduced each character.
Mhm.
And it did have a very much like it kind of style to me, and like
Yeah.
feeling of how they introduced each character, and then after we knew each character as adults, then it went to them as children. But it showed these like really deep things that were going on in their life when they introduced them. And then it didn't go any further. It didn't like add on to that. He started talking about, remember that day that you called me, that I had the accident, and I saw Duddits and whatever. And so like, it was like there was going to be more to that, but they never got into it. They never went further with that. So I felt like, is there more in the book about that? And like, was there more to the story that just like they introduced it, but then they brushed it off and went to the next thing because they didn't have enough time?
I would hope.
Yeah, it was over 2-hour movie too.
Yeah, it was almost 2.5 hours, but it's just that's another thing too. I would hope that there's more in the book than there was in the movie, just because there was a line in the movie. I forgot which one said it. It was like they were talking about how Duddits gave them each of these abilities to prepare them for something that's coming.
Yeah.
But two of them died pretty quick into this quote unquote thing coming. Like and it's like, okay, well, that was kind of like a waste of abilities if you're not even going to people to like help with.
Yeah.
And the one guy was really stupid anyway. He was sitting on top of the toilet.
He was the
but
best
he was
one.
the most fun. Like he added the fun to the movie.
Yeah, I liked him, but it's just what he did was to get killed was stupid. Like, you don't need your toothpicks right now, dude.
Oh my gosh, that toothpick stuff. It was killing me.
I know,
it's like
you
really are desperate for this toothpick that's been on the bathroom floor all around all this like bloody gunk stuff. Like,
but it was in a part that wasn't touching any of that, so it was okay.
No, it was like this one little area.
Yeah.
And Danny called it before it even happened.
Yeah.
And
I was like, they're showing these toothpicks because he's going to try and get one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you can wait 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I know. Right after
it was like a compulsion.
Jonesy gets the tape and everything.
Yeah.
The tape probably wouldn't have done anything.
It wouldn't have
the tape was not going to do anything. Anything at all.
Yeah.
But he would have lived longer, probably.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Or they both would have died at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Jonesy ends up getting taken over.
He got possessed.
Yeah, Jonesy got taken. Yeah. But he didn't die. He
no.
just got taken over.
So something that bothered me is, why does every character have to have this thing?
Yeah.
It I feel like it was trying too hard to be it with the characters. And like Jason Lee, his character Beaver. I feel like that's
because he died in the beginning of the movie, so he didn't need this ability.
Yeah.
But I mean, mean
not
the
abilities,
thing.
like they're quirks.
Yeah.
Oh,
not the abilities. They're quirks. Okay. Like with his phrases and his toothpick thing, and then
he had
the
a number
other guy with the drinking, and then I guess Thomas Jane didn't really have. He was just kind of more of a normal.
The therapist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just kind of a regular.
He was
guy.
pretty grounded.
But and then you got the whole Bucko thing, and it's like it's too much. Like, okay, we get it. Like they have these
Everyone
little attributes,
has their personality,
but you can do that without like hammering it so much.
Yeah,
like you have to be a little more subtle about it. Like they were trying really hard to be it with some of that stuff.
It's gotta like if it's that bad in the movie, it's got to be all over the place in books. And like they're just trying to add in as much Stephen King-isms as they can, and you don't need to do that. Like these writers, what I was like, the movies I was saying, like they're really good written, really good movies. You guys are better than this.
Yeah, that's what's surprising when you said that they had these like great writers. I'm like, really? Because that was probably my like what I didn't like the most with the movie is the writing. Like the writing just was obnoxious. And I mean, the story, I feel like there was some good story, and there was definitely high potential for the story.
Yeah.
Which makes me want to read the book. Like, I'm like, it probably is a good book.
Yeah.
They just didn't do well with putting it into a movie.
You know what I've just realized?
Huh.
I think Stephen King's short stories are more my style when it comes to movies. are better than the bigger stories. Like I like it, but only like the first half. You know?
Here's the thing.
It's such a
is-
big book, and it's like, no, just
If you
kinda
try to fit
keep
the
it-
whole big book into one movie,
yeah,
you
Right,
you
you're-
can't get all of that into one movie.
yeah,
And so you have to already have it set up
Yeah.
for multiple movies.
Yeah.
Because like
like they
It-
did the chapter 1, chapter 2.
the new ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the miniseries had
The
two
miniseries
parts as
had the
well.
2 parts.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the miniseries was the best that there is. So you don't need to have these new ones.
Joel will disagree.
I totally disagree, but okay, it's fine. Hey, Tim Curry was great, but those the miniseries is just it's the kids aren't as good as they are in the movies, and the adult counterparts are okay.
You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong on that. And Pennywise is
halves
way.
are just bad, and like both of those.
The second part,
yeah, the second parts of those are really bad, but the first parts are good.
yeah,
And that's because Stephen King has a problem. It's been like this for a while of ending his stories.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Right, but he doesn't know how to end his his stories. And
they do like a weird over the top thing at the end.
The top turns.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and we could maybe do an episode on Stephen King in general, like his movies, and kind of
bonus episode.
Go through that. Yeah. But you know, spoilers if you haven't watched the show or read the book for The Outsider. Really, really good book, but the ending is almost identical to it. Where it's like this monster.
It's the only way
thing.
he knows how to end things.
Yeah.
And they're literally like, instead of in the sewer, they're like in a cave. So it's like the setting isn't even that different.
Yeah.
And I don't know about the show. I didn't like really get too deep into the show on HBO. But when I read the book, like it was so good. And then I'm like, oh no, this is how we're gonna end it. Like it's this monster thing, and it's like, okay, we're going off the deep end here, and
unless they're dramas, because he did Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, and Stand By Me. Like those
but Shawshank and Stand By Me are short.
Are they short stories?
Yeah. I don't know if they're
Green
short
Mile
stories, but they're Green Mile's huge.
Yeah.
But I know Stand By Me is I'm pretty sure it's a short story. It has a different name. I want to say like a Body on the Tracks, or like
something.
or the Body. Yeah.
Body or something like that.
Yeah. So like those are definitely shorter.
Yeah. But his like fantasy horror, he doesn't know how to end. Even the Mist, how the movie ended wasn't his ending.
Right. Right.
The movie was, which he actually liked that ending a lot more than his own. And that's one that I would love to review, because that ending alone has can either make the movie for a lot of people, or it's the like worst way of ending the movie for a lot of people too. So it's a pretty controversial ending.
Yeah.
But
okay.
But yeah, Dreamcatcher.
Well, you should have picked it.
That's not a holiday or
it's not a winter movie.
Winter Wonderland movie.
Isn't it misty? Foggy.
Yeah. But not for
we'll get to that.
Not because of the weather or the season.
Misty.
So Dreamcatcher is in the snow.
It is.
Yes.
There is some snow. It's a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So are we going to go into ratings?
Yeah, let's go ahead and rate it. I'll go first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm going to give it I'm probably never going to watch it again. We'll go 63.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not like a poorly made movie. Like it's a good made movie. And if you like sci-fi, you might and you can be forgiving on the effects and stuff. And you like I don't know, military operation type movies too, and you might find some fun in this, but not for me.
Okay.
63.
I had parts of the movie that I was really looking forward to the story developing.
Mhm.
And it really got me interested in the story. I liked the story of Duddits. I liked him giving them these powers and these powers helping them through their world, through their time. And wanted to kind of explore more on that. I wanted more to
Yeah.
it. So I did enjoy the story. I
Mhm.
feel like you're like laughing about this.
I'm gonna say something in a minute.
Ah!
Not about you or anything you're saying. It just reminded me of something in the movie that was just so bad.
Okay, the Scooby Dooby Doo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That partly
And I got it. I
so
thought
bad.
it was
Donnie
endearing.
Wahlberg did a horrible job. It was so over the top
When he did
Oh,
it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh
Yeah.
as
my
like the
gosh.
adult that it's.
Yeah, too much, man.
I didn't
But I
have, like,
thought that the whole
movie.
story of it
The
was
story was
endearing.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that portrayal reminded me of the line from Tropic Thunder, which I won't say, but if you know what I'm talking about, it's Robert Downey Jr. says it to Ben Stiller because
Oh, I
Ben
think I
Stiller
know.
plays Simple Jack
Yeah.
in a movie, and he went too far.
Yeah.
That is exactly this movie with Donnie Wahlberg.
Okay.
He went full on,
Yeah.
and yeah, too much.
Well, anyway, I thought that the story of Duddits was
The story was
endearing
cool.
and like
Yeah.
sweet. It made you really care about the adult characters. Seeing how they helped him
Yeah.
and like I just really like that. So while I don't know that I'll watch the movie again, maybe I would like give it another try
Once every
when I'm
5
a little
years.
bit more awake because you know me.
She had a dream catcher.
We did have to go back and so maybe I'd give it another try, but I definitely want to look into the book. I definitely want to try to read that book.
Oh my gosh, why do you want to do that to yourself?
Because I think that I think it did have a good story to it. If it wasn't for the Morgan Freeman part,
Yeah.
I would have enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
I think. The alien's stupid, but whatever. It's an alien. And I kind of did. I was like, okay, that's kind of fun and funny that they made it like a full-on alien.
Yeah.
Like so stupid.
It's got a full, like,
it was
figure,
funny.
like,
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
to look up
I
to
even
it
like
and
the
everything.
little eyes and stuff. I'm like, okay, it's so stupid, it's fun, So, with all that being said, I'm gonna give it a 73.
Okay. Joel, what do you
All
think?
right. Yeah, I can have fun with this movie. Like I said, I've seen this a handful of times, and my viewing does get worse and worse pretty much every time I watch it. But like I didn't watch it. I didn't like the first time I watched it. I was a teenager, so like I didn't really. If I maybe if I had watched this movie as an adult, I may have not liked it at first, but maybe gradually liked it eventually. But I didn't mind the alien stuff, and yeah, some of the dialogue was really bad, and special effects were really bad, and I wish they had ended differently. But yeah, I'm gonna give this a 75.
Okay.
It's
I thought I was gonna be highest.
you almost were like I was thinking where in like the low to maybe mid 70s I was going to put this, but yeah.
Okay.
All right.
75.
Cool.
Yeah. So I thought Dan was going to go lower than he did. So okay.
Yeah.
In the
I mean, I feel like I can't give it super low because it is like, it's not like a bad made movie, and
Mhm.
it does have some good character stuff. So I didn't hate it completely, but
Yeah.
it's just really not my kind of thing. But I could see how people could enjoy it. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was the 9th day of Scaremas. And we have coming up tomorrow, the 10th day of Scaremas. And that is going to be a big one. It's going to be a longer episode because it's going to be our top 10 of 2023.
Yes.
And we will have
Horror
some
movies.
honor. Yes. Horror movies. Top 10 Christmas movies
Yeah.
that are not horror. No.
No. Don't confuse me.
Yes.
Top 10 2023 horror movies.
Yes.
Yes.
We'll probably have some honorable mentions, so we'll throw some extra ones in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so look out for that tomorrow. That's going to be a fun one. Go to liquidiv.com and use our code, Scare Talk code, to get a discount. Go to Zencaster. You can make podcasts just like this very easily.
Yeah.
And our code there is Scare Talk. You can get a discount if you use that. All right.
Yep. This has been Scare Talk.
Sleep tight.
Don't let Scooby Dooby Doo bite.